Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Automotive Podcast. My name is Sammy Haj Assad, and with me, as always, is my good friend and fellow automotive journalist, Benjamin Hunting. Say hi to the people, Ben.
Greetings, human listeners.
Greetings to everyone. If this is the first time you're listening to our podcast, thank you for trying something new. I will reiterate, Ben and I are a pair of automotive journalists, but more than that, we're very good friends. Right, Ben?
Yes.
That was quite the delay. Are you... I assume
Sorry, I'm on the moon. It takes 39 milliseconds to bounce the signal through the troposphere. So,
well, whenever I'm delayed in answering you, it's because I'm writing you like a Christmas card, which I'm not going to send it to you.
I wish you would stop sending me out of season Christmas cards. Like,
but
I know you
so
get
much cheaper.
I know you get a really good bargain on them, but I have so many now. And it feels wrong to throw them away because they're also earnest.
Yeah, I mean, I really do handwrite most of them. Other ones, I have a stamp. Merry Christmas.
The stamp is like a little... When I open the mailbox and I see it's one with a stamp, that's when I know I need to call you and see what's up in your life.
Ben, you can find his work all over the internet and in some other places too. Right, Ben?
Yeah, don't look too hard though.
Where can they find your latest work?
You can find my work at Haggerty, at driving.ca, and at Motor Trend.
And you can find my work at driving.ca as well. I'm usually on their YouTube channel, driving.ca, I think is the name of their YouTube channel.
Yeah, they have you on there 24 hours now, right? That's rough. Like, I'm glad they let you off for an hour a week to record the podcast.
It's a little bit less than an hour, but yeah, and it's usually my bathroom break for the whole week.
It's killing your home life.
It's
your
really...
wife hasn't seen you in 6 days.
I don't know what my son looks like.
They're trying to set some kind of dubious record.
It's gonna be a huge one. I think people will care.
All right.
In addition to driving.ca, you can find my work at autotrader.ca. What do you think of that, Ben?
I think that's a lot of dots and a lot of CAs. And I think we should move on.
Ben, we've got the same car this week.
It's fun. It's
not the same car.
Oops, all kicks.
Oops, double kick. That's what I like to call it. I was so good at double kicks when I was training regularly.
So when you double kick, do you do like the Van Damme double kick where you stand and then double kick to the head? Or do you do like the Jackie Chan / Bruce Lee double kick where you run through the air, you jump through the air and then you double kick in the air on the chest?
No, I don't do the old bicycle kick there or whatever you want to call it.
No. I don't even mean like bicycle kick. I mean side double kick, like you're in Street Fighter.
I would love to be in. Well, actually, Street Fighter seems like it's a hard life. Again, you don't see your family. You spend all your time. You have to. Yeah, at one point, I think it's a Lexus or an Acura or something.
It's a Lexus.
That's rough on the old joints. No, I do the. I used to do the double kick. High, and then when I got older, I started doing it low, high, and then I started faking the low and just going for the high. It was great.
What about faking the right and doing the left high?
It's very difficult to do with kicks because then both of your feet are in the air.
Yeah, you need some kind of tripod. Yeah. It's like a half helicopter.
It's like a capoeira move at that point.
For those who don't know, Sammy is a distinguished karate instructor.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even making that up. I know it sounds like I'm blowing smoke, but it really is.
I had been doing it for 30 years. I've been not teaching, doing martial arts for 30 years. I competed at the national level. I have a whole bunch of trophies and medals that I'm sure my son will melt down for. I don't know. I guess healthcare money at some point.
And they've made 5 movies about you now so far. 3 originals and then a remake and then
yeah, but one is adult rated and I don't want people searching it.
Well, that's a movie you've starred in, not a movie about you. That's a little bit different.
It's
question.
Yes.
Do you think Nissan named the kicks after a karate move or a martial arts move, or do you think it's like kicks, like get your kicks?
I think it's get your kicks
on Route 66.
I think that's exactly what it is. Did you do that event?
No, I didn't.
They did this whole event, I think, with the Canadian media, and everyone who's been on it said it was like some sort of life-changing event. Where
was it Nissan that did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not even make that connection. I was just talking about it in general, but that is interesting. And they didn't do it in the kicks, did they?
No, I don't think the kicks was out.
That's a huge missed opportunity.
I think they did it mostly in the Rogue.
Mostly in the Rogue.
Yeah, and the Altima. And if you remember, the old Rogue was not the one to do stuff in.
Also, RIP Altima, apparently. This is the final model year, from what I understand.
Are you really Are you really calling it rest in peace, or is this just a thing again? Where like
It's going to be brought back
saying,
as an SUV 2 years from now.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Or,
And also, I just saw this in passing, so I don't have any more information. Whether
Okay.
it's 2026 or 2025, I think it's 2025. But the Ultima's finally gone. I mean, first they took the coupe from us, and now the sedan is gone as well.
Yeah, look at how many people really were sad about the coupe going.
The coupe was not bad. I mean, there's a
It
weird way
clearly it was if people weren't buying it.
no, but there's a weird way to think about the coupe, right? Like you could get a VQ V6 in that coupe,
A
and
front-wheel drive one.
you could get a manual transmission,
Mm-hmm.
or you could get the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with a CVT.
Mm-hmm.
So the performance potential was there, but I think what some people realized was they could buy a brand new Altima Coupe, or they could buy a 2-year-old G35, and the price was like the same.
Exactly. I mean, we're going to be talking about Nissan all episode long, which is a tough thing to do because nobody apparently is really buying Nissans.
People are still buying the Rogue, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I was looking at the sales figures of the Kicks in particular. In North America, they sell about 100,000 of them. Well, over 100,000 of them combined. Mexico, Canadian, and U.S. sales, which is pretty good, I think.
And we also need to be upfront about the fact that this is a podcast that is a huge fan of the other Kicks.
The previous generation Kicks.
The previous generation Kicks. It was one of the best compact anythings out there because it was super lightweight. It weighed like 2,700 pounds. And I know that doesn't sound super lightweight, but that is like what? 200 pounds more than a Miata?
Yeah.
Like,
no,
that's
I mean,
pretty
relatively
crazy.
speaking, that is a lightweight car. And I mean, of course, we're talking about a car that is a
4 doors
subcompact
with a hatch
hatchback.
that's
Yeah.
useful. And it had like no horsepower. I think it had something like 120 horsepower, I want to say. And yet it was still 122. And it was still fun. Like I had fun with it. It had a CVT. It was buzzy. It wasn't quick.
Well,
but
good news. You can still get one.
I'm just saying, it was engaging. It was a car that it's the kind of car where you show up and you don't expect anything good about it.
Exactly.
You expect it to be the kind of vehicle that does its job, is really cheap, and gets out of the way, and you never think about it. But the Kicks actually managed to be something that I wanted to drive in the same way that the Juke was before it, with the dramatic difference of the Juke was, first of all, intended to be a performance vehicle and also had looks that were super polarizing.
Okay.
Whereas the Kicks didn't have that.
You're doing a really good job of setting up. This feels like the conversation we had when it came to Honda and the HR-V, because I set that up by saying that Honda is actually really capable of delivering good, entertaining, and like practical vehicles. And I think the Kicks in the previous generation, it hit the benchmark of being an affordable car that had personality. And those two parts rarely go together nowadays.
Although we do have exceptions right now with the Buick Envista and the Chevy Trax, which I think are spiritual successors to the Kicks in the sense that they are still very cheap. I mean, they're under 25,000. The Kicks was just under 20 in the US. And I believe, or not just, maybe a little bit more than that. In Canada, it was similar, wasn't it?
The Kicks?
So the Kicks, the previous generation Kicks, when it left the market in the States, it was 20,600.
Yeah.
Now I think an Invista, or not an Invista, sorry, because that's a luxury version of the Trax. The Trax is like 22 or 23, I want to say. So there's still vehicles in that class that are good, but not the same kind of personality. Like it doesn't have that lightweight feel. It's still a good drive, but it's not as engaging. But you're right in that they're few and far between. Like there's not a lot of cheap cars that are appealing.
And it's important to point out as well that for the next, I'm assuming, month or so, you can still buy a last generation Kicks. They're still selling it. It's called the 2025 Kicks Play. It comes in one trim level.
Weird. Why is it called the Kicks Play? Why not the Kicks Classic? It was right there.
Click Kicks Rewind. OG Kicks.
Double Kicks.
Anyways, this one is only available in one trim level. It's the lowest one, so basically it's just this bargain basement car, which is fine. Again, I've had no issues with that mentality for the Kicks.
How much is it?
In the US, it's just about $23,000, including destination.
Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. So the old Kicks is the same price as the new Kicks? Because
that's including destination. The new one is about $1,000 more.
Okay, because the new one's $22,430 plus $1,500 destination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and we should get into this because the new one is it's a totally different car. It has totally different looks. It has a different engine. It clearly has a different mission than the original one, which I think was intended to be affordable transportation.
I'm not so sure the mission is different. I think I'm going to disagree with you there. But there's another thing we should talk about in the sense that you said it's destined to be affordable transportation.
Mhm.
In the US, I think that's still true because it's only about 10% more expensive than it used to be.
Yeah.
In Canada,
Is that by what metric are you using? By used to be? Like last year?
so the last year, the previous generation kicks
Mhm.
is about 10% cheaper to start out with than the current one.
Okay.
In Canada, you discovered that that's not the case.
I went by 5 years. I went by 5 years ago, the 2020 kicks you can have in Canada for around $20,000. And
Well, what was it
today,
in 2024?
in 2024,
That's what I think is more relevant.
it was 22,000,
Okay, and now it is
around 24,000.
Wait, which one is it?
Because I don't know if you want me to add the
No,
freight.
don't
and
add
PDI.
don't add freight.
anything. So
No.
22.3.
Okay, and what is
And
it now?
today, if you get into a 2026, which is what I drove,
Yes.
you're going to be spending at least $27,000.
Okay, so it's $5,000 more,
$5,000.
which is 20% roughly,
Yeah,
if not a little bit more. Yeah,
about
wow.
rough. About
So not quite as cheap anymore.
not
in
quite as
Canada.
cheap. I mean, I was going by 5 years ago. I was looking at. I'd like to look at that.
Yeah, but 5 years ago is a bit of an aberration because at that point you're in COVID.
You're in COVID.
And
I
when
don't
that
want to be in
happened,
COVID. I don't want to do
Prices
that again.
went crazy. So like we can't. I mean, 5 years ago the Maverick was like $9,000 cheaper than it is now.
That's what I'm saying. Cars were cheap, and we didn't take advantage of it.
Oh, we did, and I still am. Like, but anyway, so I think it is still destined to be a cheap car, but I think the definition of a cheap car has changed.
Okay.
I think that customer expectations have potentially changed as well. Not everywhere, because we still have cars like the Versa that's out
Mhm.
there, which is, although I think Versa is another RIP pretty soon. There's still the chance that you can get a bargain basement type stripped out car like the Versa, which we talked about recently. I want to say within the last 3 months or so on the show. The Kicks is intended, it's not intended to be like the SUV alternative to the Versa. I think it's intended to be the alternative entry level, period.
Okay.
If you see what I'm saying.
I can kind of see it. Basically,
Where
they,
you're still not spending like compact SUV money. It's still a subcompact. It still has a cheaper base price, but the expectations for features and capability are now higher. So like, let's say with the Versa, when you can buy the the one with the no power options and whatnot, basically what you would get with a rental fleet, right?
yeah.
You can't really add a lot to it. There's not
No.
much that you can add like a full down rear seat and I think heated seats and stuff. That kind
My
of thing.
goodness, the folding capability of the
it's
seats is optional.
It's optional, and it
How
gives you
bizarre!
like
It's just like a hinge and a latch. Like
it's gonna be a costing somewhere. But the one I had was a base model, and I couldn't fold the rear seat. You have to pay. There's like
Oh,
a
no.
package to get that. But when you get to the Kicks level, you can suddenly add all-wheel drive. You can add a panoramic sunroof. Like you can get these kinds of features that you would see on class above vehicles that weren't available with the Versa. So that's what I mean when I say it's an alternative to the alternative.
Yeah. Okay, so I get that, and I think the new car is capable of being much more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like it is also the top. So, what trim level did you drive?
I drove the SV.
I also drove the SV, which is the mid trim between the S and the SR.
Yeah.
Mine
was also all-wheel drive.
I was also all-wheel drive.
We probably drove the same vehicle.
Was yours a nice color at least?
No, it was gray with a red roof.
Okay, mine was two-tone as well, but blue and black.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it looked. I mean, this is a car that actually still looks pretty sharp, even as an entry-level car.
Although what's funny is I was picking my wife up from a business trip, and I was like, "I'm in the gray car with the red roof," and she walked right by it. She did not see the red roof because the roof itself, like seen from the side, is a sliver. it's maybe like 2 inches tall above the
Uh,
glass. You have to be looking at it from above to really see it.
yeah, and I mean even worse with a black roof, right? Like because there's I think there's a blacked out element at the C pillar or D pillar, and yeah, if it's black, it just doesn't really resonate.
But like all
But
that to say, I think it's a pretty decent looking vehicle.
yeah, I mean, in terms of subcompact crossovers, I think it's way up there with in terms of design. I think they did a really good job with this. Really, what I originally thought was an overstyled front end. There's so much like horizontal lines happening on the front bumper and the
That's
grill.
the new thing. Have you not seen the Telluride, which is essentially
Yeah, horizontal lines everywhere.
yeah, we're being forced into this future where as much plastic as possible is being jammed onto the front end of a vehicle, and that plastic has to be horizontal for some reason. But at least on the kicks, you get this, it fades into lighting elements on the side.
Mhm.
So it's horizontal across the grille, but then it curves into the fenders. And at the very leading edge of the fender, it's met by like 3 lines of light. And I think that that's a cool motif.
Yeah, and I think there was something about it. I can't remember if it's like the welcome lighting or like the lock and unlock lighting that was actually also fairly like it had charm to it, I think is the best way to put it. And I also noticed that the lower bumper, there's like a body cladding on the lower bumper. It has like a pattern on it as well.
It juts out too. It's I think it's intended to look rugged.
Yeah,
It's almost like a tire tread pattern.
kind
Or
of.
a
Yes.
diamond pattern, I guess.
And they've got it on the side sills as well.
Yeah.
So that's enough to say about the exterior. We don't usually talk about the exterior of cars all that much, but I will say there was something about the interior that kind of like captured me. I really enjoyed the interior of this car. One, I found the rear seats to be spacious enough to handle a rear-facing car seat without ruining a front seat passenger's legroom.
But that being said, it's not an amazing amount of room.
Oh no, it's not massive, but like for me, that's my measurement for a small car. Like especially, I can stick my kid in their car seat. A rear-facing car seat is not really the most like compact thing to throw in there, and usually I have to throw the front passenger seat all the way up to the dash, basically.
Now, how did it rate on your son's shoe throwing scale?
Yeah.
Was he able to reach the front seat? with
Oh
his
yeah,
aim?
easily. In fact, it's not much of a reach for me to like pat him on the head and tell him good throw and give him his shoe back.
All right. Why do you return the ammunition?
Because
feels like a mistake.
he needs more practice. Clearly,
I guess so.
Honestly, throwing is one of his is a one skill that he's underdeveloped right now. Because I see his cousins halfway around the world who are they're like Steph Curry out there.
Yeah, but they're living in a throwing culture. It's
true.
different. It's different. You can't.
is true.
It's not apples to oranges here.
Um,
I want to
the
say
other thing. No. The other thing about this interior. Hold on, 1 minute. There's a material, this cloth material that covers the seats and is also found on the dashboard.
yes.
I liked this thing.
I liked it
this
too.
Material. I found myself touching the dash unnecessarily to be
Well,
like,
there's
like
but
that's a real material on the dash.
and there's also leather on the dash. It's not. It's like two-tone, right? Mine was. So
Oh, I
I had a
think mine
leather
was.
top, and then I had that fabric underneath the infotainment screen,
Okay.
and then it went around to the doors. Is that what yours was like?
Yes. I was fixated on the harder plastic underneath the cloth that was super like hard, and
It was bad for my arm on the
Yeah.
door. This is the worst armrest I have encountered in a very long time, and that's unfortunate because I had to do, as I mentioned, an airport run in this vehicle, and I also did some other longer trips. And by the end of the trips, my left elbow was just like begging for mercy, and that's very rare. Also, I have a 40-year-old car in my garage it's also built by Nissan, that has a better armrest than this, and I was shocked by that. But I will agree with Sammy that it looks good. Something though,
and that
that
material that like where they put that material was super cool with me. I'm like, hey, this is nice, and there's a little pattern on the seats as well.
yeah, they tried harder than they had to.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to say. They did something they didn't have to do, and that is not a common move for Nissan. You know what I
And-
mean? Or for this class of car.
Where they didn't try hard was the gauge cluster and the infotainment. So once again, we have this rectangular slab of plastic that does everything.
yeah,
It's divided into 2 pieces. And on one side, the right side, you have like a full color infotainment screen where you have like, you know, Android Auto and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And then for the gauge cluster, you
I-
have what I'm going to
Are you going to
describe
quote the
as
press? Can you quote the press? No, hold on. The materials say that this is a 12.3-inch screen. It's not. It's
No.
not.
It's divided, and the gauge cluster has like a section on the left that is a display that will show you like tire pressures and all that stuff, odometer and whatnot. And then directly in front of the driver, there is what I would describe as your high school alarm clock LED that counts off speedometer and odometer. And it's deliberately chosen to look old school, and it's just weird. Like, it's neither good nor bad, but it's glaringly different from everything that's around it. And it's surrounded by a lot of black space that's not being used. And I had another issue with it. So I often take photos for Canada and US when I'm photographing vehicles because I'm writing for different publications. So that means I need to change the units of the dashboard. And that's often very easy to do. You just go into the infotainment screen, you choose MPG instead of liters per 100 kilometers, and you choose Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. Well, when I did that for the Nissan Kicks, it did not change the gauge cluster. In fact, it showed
Mine shows a tiny little mile per hour.
Yeah, it always has a little miles per
Yeah.
hour thing, but the odometer remains in kilometers,
Yeah.
and the main speedometer remains in kilometers. The only thing that changes on the dashboard is the temperature readout. And then if you go into the sub menus, it changes your trip computer to miles per gallon and miles. This is
Useless.
bizarre. If you have a button that changes units, it should change units everywhere, not just where you've randomly selected to change. When I photographed this car, I had to position the camera so that the steering wheel blocked out the units that did not properly translate to the market I was photographing in. Again,
Okay.
it's not a huge problem, but for me, I was able to work around it. You still see the dashboard. It's not a big deal, but come on, what are we doing here? Like, what is
It
this
is
feature?
It is one of the moment I got in, and I saw that there was that big panel of screen. I was like, oh wow, did they really put like a full gauge cluster in there? And
No.
then the moment the sun hits that plastic, you can actually see the two separate screens making up and
you
they're
can.
different sizes.
And I like Twilight, when like the light comes on, like the interior lights change, but it's still bright enough outside that you can see the difference between them. Yeah, I noticed that as well.
And I was like, oh no.
It's like all that effort they put into the fabric, and then they fired that person and hired someone else to design the infotainment setup.
Well, it's even funnier to be like, you've got all of this black space that could be a screen.
You're not allowed to touch it.
You can't. No, we need that there.
Don't use it.
The other thing I'll point out about the interior, you mentioned a discomfort with the armrest.
Yes.
These might be, and I don't know if this is across the line, but these might be the least comfortable seats that I've been in.
I was
in
okay
a
with
long,
the seats.
long time. I had to do.
I have a padded bottom though.
You personally?
No further questions.
Okay. What it really needed was lumbar support.
Okay.
And this blew my mind because Nissan is the company with the zero gravity, super supportive, great for long road trip kind of seats. And I could have used those here. I don't know what happened to me in this car, but it did not go well.
One more thing I want to talk about with that dashboard is when you put it in drive or you turn it on, there's obviously the little thing in the center of the dash that tells you what gear you're in, right? And underneath that, there's the word standard.
Yeah, that's the drive mode, no?
Sammy, there are no drive modes in this vehicle.
Mine had drive modes.
Where?
It's impossible to see because the gear stick blocks your view of it.
Where were your drive modes?
They're on the center console next to the gear stick, north of the gear stick.
I'm looking at photos that I took right now because I searched for
it's a little nub
modes.
To the right of the gear stick.
A nub?
Yeah, a little nub toggle. I'm going to send you my picture.
Yeah.
You're going to love this. I really hope I sent you a big high resolution enough screen.
How did I not notice that?
They don't do anything. Actually, they do. We'll talk about that right now because the drive mode is a great place to segue into the driving characteristic of this car. It's got a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with 100 and I don't have the number off the top of my head. 140 something horsepower.
Yes.
Do you know how
yeah,
much
it's 100? It's 141, I think.
141 on the dot.
Yeah, 141, and then 140 pound-feet of torque.
Okay. And it's okay. I think that powertrain was perfectly adequate.
I can't believe I missed these drive modes. I specifically looked for them and I could not find them. I think I had my phone on top of that button the entire time I was in the car. I'm not very good at my job, am I? I think
occasionally.
Maybe it's time to retire.
No. Not for the podcast's sake. I hope you don't. Anyways, this engine is paired with a CVT. The one thing I will say is that the CVT is not that awful in my experience. It can get very loud, but only when you punch it, when you try to get moving in a hurry.
So
but
I did not find it loud at any point.
Yeah.
Even at full throttle, I thought it sounded pretty fine. It's not thrashy or anything. And I thought that was unusual.
I found it to be, like I said, I think it was a little bit more refined. The only way I heard it was when I was trying to make a pass on the highway and I was using the toll road, so I was going at speed there.
I do want to talk about passing because this is one of the few cars I've had where I could not pass people. On the back roads, there's only back roads.
Oh yeah,
small 2-lane highways. There's only so much passing lane, right?
Yeah.
I did not,
and you need to have speed for sure.
I did not have the confidence or the capability. At one point, I pulled out and then hit it and then pulled back in. That's like I didn't have to hit the brakes in that sequence. Like that's how little acceleration there was in that situation where I just realized I wasn't going to make it and this was a bad move, and then I just let off the throttle and like back in the right side of the lane. But I
haven't had that happen in a long time.
Tell me about these drive modes.
I believe there was Eco, Snow, Sport, and probably Normal. And I use the Eco and Sport modes. The Sport mode just puts the basically the base RPM kind of a little bit higher, like maybe north of 2,000 RPM.
That's weird.
So that it's a little bit more responsive when you do hit the throttle. Again, it's still not going to be capable of making those passes you're looking for. But I use the Eco one as well. I did not enjoy that. I also don't know why exactly we needed eco mode.
It should be an eco mode. All eco mode. This is like we talk about, like, why do sports cars have a sport mode? This car should just be in eco mode all the time.
Well, I think if it was, you would have even less confidence in its passing capabilities.
In terms of noise, I found the tire noise to be pretty high.
Okay,
it's hard for me to be upset about that though, because my car was outfitted with all season tires. And we had a blizzard and it was very cold, and all season tires are going to be loud and frozen in those situations.
Mine had winters on it. So I immediately like discredited it because I'm like, I know that. And
there's, if you getting to the all wheel drive system. So I had the chance to use that all the time because I'm not using appropriate rubber, right? And I'm in snow. I had no problems with traction. The only problems I had were braking.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's tire related primarily. So I had to get a little bit of extra space to stop. But the all-wheel drive system, it's one of those, it's primarily a front-wheel drive vehicle, except when, say, you're pulling off the line. Below a certain speed, if you hammer the throttle, it sends power automatically to the rear, even if you have not lost traction. And the reason you can tell is because it has a little gauge that you can watch on that far left corner of the screen that will show you where torque is being distributed. So it's very hard to break traction in this vehicle. I did it a couple of times in the snow, but for the most part, it was happy to, dole out its 141 horsepower in a way that was undisturbing to me or anyone around me. You do notice, however, the fact that this vehicle is between 300 and 500 pounds heavier than the old kicks. And I think that this is where, Sammy, the personality of the vehicle dramatically changes. Having that all-wheel drive, which is extra weight, and just having the extra weight in general.
Yeah, mine also had a ton of equipment, right? Like mine had heated seats, heated steering. We had the same trim. Heated seats, heated steering wheel, wireless phone charger. Not that that's like a super heavy item, but like all of the doodads in terms of safety equipment as well, which I'm not sure that the last kicks I drove had any of that.
And we're still not at the top trim level. You can still pay more. You can get that panoramic sunroof and whatnot.
Yeah. So you're totally right. There's a lot of equipment here, and that changes the personality of the car to going from something that was kind of like I don't want to call it silly,
No,
but
but like it
like
was like the Mini Cooper of the Nissan lineup.
it had like a carefreeness to it that was like it was fun to drive. It was fine to drive. You felt okay driving it. You didn't feel like you were in a penalty box because it was kind of silly and it was capable, despite being affordable and kind of bare bones.
But this
But
is
this
like a
new one,
vehicle. This is punching
yeah,
above its weight. This kind of reminds me of a vehicle that I've never driven that we talked about last week, the Hyundai Venue,
yes,
where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to make you think. It's evoking a higher class of vehicle,
mm.
and I don't think that's a bad thing. One thing we didn't talk about for interior. Sorry to get on a tangent. Cargo space is decent. I was able to put a full size carry-on and a smaller carry-on wheeled suitcases and a box in the back of the vehicle with no problems without having to put the seats down. It looks pretty small when you pop the hatch, but it's actually okay.
I had no concerns with it. I used it for everything I needed to use it with. My major concern with it was trying to compare it to another. I told you last week we drove the Kona, and we've driven the Kona plenty of times. The Kona has a bigger cargo area.
Okay.
Like clearly, without a doubt, is much more practical, and you can get it at around the same price. Yeah, it can be a little bit more expensive, especially when you start going into the turbocharged engines of the Kona. But if you stay out of that turbocharged engine like space, then the Kona feels like the better car because what you said, it's punching. The Kicks is now punching above its weight. But now it's kind of competing with. When it was super affordable, it was competing in this class of like ultra affordable cars. And now when it has all this equipment and raises the price and all-wheel drive, it now feels like it has to compete with all of these other vehicles that are already established in this segment.
Sure. And you mentioned
and prioritize other elements, right? Other things.
You mentioned before we recorded that you felt like this vehicle should have a turbo. It should have like a 1.6 turbo, and that would make it better. And I was thinking just now about what you were saying, and
it took you like an hour to process.
No. What you just said now about how it's competing against the Trax, which I believe is turbo 3-cylinder, and it's competing against the turbo 4 in the Kia, or sorry, the Hyundai, excuse me,
and the Seltos,
and the Venue.
I think. The Corolla Cross doesn't have a turbo, but you can get a hybrid version of it.
Yeah, but it's not really where I'm going with this. Okay, what I mean is the original Kicks was up against the original Trax, which did not have like nearly. I don't think that was turbocharged. And as a result, the fact that it had this naturally aspirated engine, even though it wasn't powerful, it felt like it had some personality. Like we were saying, it was fun to toss around and whatnot. It had character that other vehicles in its class didn't. But now that it's pushing towards what other vehicles in its class have moved towards themselves, it becomes more homogenous. And we notice the fact that it doesn't have a turbo now, but not for the same reasons. It's standing apart because it's a half measure, in the sense that it hasn't gone fully into the idea that this is an upscale subcompact, because I don't think Nissan can afford to play in that space. I don't think that's where their customers are. But at the same time, other people are going to be cross-shopping the vehicles that do make that claim.
Yeah. This is where the part of the Kicks, like, and Nissan's strategy in general feels so different, because you did this little rundown of all these other cars that they had that were they had the Kicks, and then if you wanted a more powerful Kicks, you basically got the Juke. Two cars that were that like shied away from what the mass market typically wants, which is lots of space, lots of equipment. The Juke was a car that had very limited kind of creature comforts and had a ginormous plastic panel for like between the front seats that was kind of like I don't know what you would call it, like a motorcycle body. Like that's what it looked like and felt like. And it had this turbocharged engine. Eventually there was a Nismo model with over 200 horsepower. And it was a silly little car. It was so much fun.
And you could get a manual.
And you could get a manual, the front wheel drive one. And there was the Nismo model with like the most bolstered seats I've ever seen. And I remember these things so vividly. You know what I mean? I remember this so
The Juke was like what would happen if a gaming PC company made a car and they're like, check out this interior, check out these seats, check out these headlights. You know, like it would be like that.
And so when they basically called the Kicks the replacement for the Juke, and we all kind of went, oh, that's a bit of a loss because it doesn't have that turbocharged engine, but I can understand why they're doing that. And in addition to its, more mainstreamness, it was really affordable. And now we've got a car that's gone a little bit more upscale. It's a little bit more refined than what we remember the Kicks being.
Well, it parts of it are.
Yeah. And now it just loses that charm. That's what I'm trying to say. We have fond memories of the Kicks because of what it was capable of doing. And these aren't like, I don't think these are rose-colored glasses of like 5 years ago.
Maybe we just missed who we were 5 years ago, Sammy.
I don't know about that. But we had, I think we immediately recognized what we were driving and went, hey, for the price, this is actually kind of fun. This is kind of interesting. And now when I get in this, I go, hey, it's pretty good. But for this much money, I can get a bigger vehicle. I can get a car that has more space, more, better seats, less harsh plastics, a real digital gauge cluster, a better all-wheel drive system, all sorts of other little things
better,
here and there.
Actual.
Yeah, yes. So I'm looking at that and saying, Nissan lost it. Like they lost the plot. They lost this game by playing the competitor's game, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. And all this to say, I don't think this current Kicks is a bad vehicle.
No, it's not bad at all. Yeah.
I would recommend people check it out. But
if you're on a strict budget, absolutely.
It's fundamentally different. And I think that's important to keep in mind because we've been such Kicks boosters in the past. Two other things I want to mention about the vehicle. Mm-hmm. One is something I didn't like. One is something that was just straight up weird. The thing I didn't like is the adaptive cruise control does not work in stop and go traffic.
Yeah, it beeps at you and then starts creeping towards.
And it starts creeping forward if you stop for like more than a second and a half.
Yeah.
So that's not great. That's super annoying. The whole reason that adaptive cruise control exists is so I don't have to pay attention when I'm crawling through traffic at a snail's pace. I did not appreciate that. And I know that a friend of the show, Bradley Iger, he hates any adaptive cruise control system that does not have true stop and go capability. It's one of his pet peeves. So he would hate the Kicks. The other weird thing, though, the thing I didn't dislike, but is strange. If you look at the Kicks' shifter, you can shift it into drive, obviously. But instead of having a low setting, it has something that says B.
Yeah, which is, to me, typically related to a hybrid vehicle.
Yeah, where it allows you to automatically or better, more aggressively recharge the battery. That's almost exclusively what this feature means. Now, Nissan has put it in a vehicle that has no hybrid model, no battery whatsoever other than the 12 volts under the hood, and it still says B. And if you look at the manual says that B is for going down steep grades or for when you need
it's engine braking.
Yeah, if you need to add higher revs from the engine. It's essentially functionally exactly the same as low, but they put B on it. This is strange, confusing, weird. No one needed this. No one was asking for this. Is it like Nissan trying to, again, play their competitors' games of the ones that do have a hybrid model? Like, I don't get it. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but it is odd. Like, why B? Why not any other letter?
Yeah, or, just some numbers.
Yeah. Or like 10 numbers. Like and they have to add... And right over to the drive mode selector. I can't believe I did. I really feel like I'm losing it.
The drive mode selector?
Yes.
I'm more embarrassed that you were about to say that there's no drive modes.
I did say it.
Oh, you did
I did say it. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not like the first time where like I have missed a feature in a car.
It hasn't happened in a long time.
And you've had to correct me. And at one point you were getting worried and telling me like, hey, maybe you need to like step back or something.
I don't think I said it that way.
Priest. A young priest and an old priest.
A fully loaded, this car, I don't think has the value play in mind to compete with the rest of this things. You just gotta love its design and its interior to go, yeah, I'll spend like 30 grand on this car.
Yeah,
I don't think it's worth it. And even at the mid trim,
I think mid trim
okay.
is fine. I think mid trim is fine.
But I truly believe if you're on a strict budget, this is the car to get. And this is one of the cars to really take a look at. Can you tell me?
I can tell you that Americans don't get the heated steering wheel in the mid trim.
That's wild. I know
it's
we're
the only
treated
difference.
We're treated to all of these features. Did you turn on the heated steering wheel?
All the time.
And you turn on the heated seats?
Of course.
I noticed that every time I pressed one of those two buttons, I heard a very distinct click coming from like the passenger side of the car.
Don't worry about it.
And every time I touched those buttons, and I was like,
that if I use the remote start, it pumped up the temperature to 25 degrees Celsius, which is like
that's the max almost
78 or something.
Yeah.
Even though I had it set to 19 or 21 normally. So you get in the car and it's at a totally different temperature. And then other times when I wasn't using the remote start, it would do the same thing. And I emailed Nissan and they didn't know why I was doing that.
It sounds like it has like a Nissan Connect thing and they have somebody.
That was my thought too. And I tried to look and see if there was a profile that had like a
mine had a
setting.
profile.
But like there's no profile information. It's like very bare bones.
Infotainment system is kind of bare bones. There's no like real apps or anything. I just use
that's
Android
fine. I don't
Auto
need apps. I don't need a single app.
I just
no
have
apps.
Android
Thank you.
Auto all the time.
I don't want your apps.
And what else was there going on in this car?
That's it. We talked about everything.
Yeah, I think that's it. I was going to ask you what you think about this class in general, because there is a wide spread of vehicles now to choose from. There's like a low end where you'd find the Kicks, this first generation Kicks Play for like a month and a half or so.
I mean, there's a wide range of SUVs at this price.
Yeah, not even subcompact, you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is like subcompacts are pretty much just SUVs now. I think, but what's the car? There's no car. There's just the Versa. Is there anything else? There's the Mini, which is priced out of this area.
Is the Mirage dead?
I think the Mirage is still out there, but let's not talk about the Mirage.
I want to get into the what's the SUV version of the Mirage called? It has two different names: Outlander Sport.
That's
or
not
RVR.
the SUV version of the Mirage. I'm sorry.
Or the RVR. I want to try that out.
But yeah, there's Seltos, there's CX-30, there's the Trax, there's the Taos, there's the Invista, which is like $4,000 more. Like so.
And the Trax and the Kick and the what's the other one called?
That's what I said. You know, the Trailblazer, I guess, but I feel like the Trax is really put the Trailblazer in its place, kind of thing.
But the Trailblazer, I think you can get with all-wheel drive.
There's the Nero,
or is it the other way around?
The Soul, which is I think dead after this year.
Yeah, I think Soul is done.
There's the HRV, which we're not going to talk about, and there's the Crosstrek, which feels like it's kind of in a different class.
Yeah, it's one of those cars that, again, I mentioned there's like a mainstreamification of this class, and I think the Crosstrek just hits the points of being really spacious and offering all-wheel drive for the lowest amount of money possible.
And it's priced like that too. It's like $6,000 or $7,000 more in the US than what you would pay. There's also the Buick Encore GX, a vehicle I never think about.
Yeah.
Because again, Invista exists. And it's like, yeah, there's a good, like, at least 15 choices here.
To me, the top three are Crosstrek, Kona, and CX-30, depending on your needs. I think that covers the spread.
I like the Trax a lot. I think for the money.
Oh, yeah. And the Trax is the really like the budget option.
I mean, the Trax is like $5,000 less than that CX-30.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big gap.
The CX-30 is gorgeous, though. And you can get it with a wicked powertrain.
Gorgeous is, I think, stretching it for any vehicle in this segment.
Well, maybe it's getting maybe a bit long in the tooth. It's a crazy class. You're right. There's 15 cars. I would say that there's maybe like, and about half of them are actually worth taking a look at, which has to be one of the better hit rates in this in the automotive industry. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
With the exception of like
full-size pickups.
The compact car segment or mid-size car segment.
Although I guess in full-size pickups, there's only 3 that you need to look at.
How dare you disrespect the Titan that way?
Is the Titan still on sale?
I'm at the Nissan website. It is not. What happened?
What happened is no one bought it, and it went away.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Nissan. Do you think they're going to pull it off? Do you think that people are going to start buying their cars or what?
I don't know, man. I mean, I hope so.
This stresses me out.
I hope so. They're certainly not going to be buying Altimas.
They're not buying Altimas. They're not going to buy the last gen kicks for a while. It stresses me out because, as I mentioned, they're now trying to play the competitions game, at least here in North America. And that didn't go well. That hasn't gone well for them in the past.
Here's something else that's going to stress you out. The Z is going to become special order only.
Yeah, that's insane. I read this report from Joel Feder at The Drive, where they said basically...
Where Nissan basically said, no one's buying them. We can't sell the Z at the current price.
Yeah,
so we don't want dealers ordering them and having them sit in showrooms.
Because then they have to incentivize it.
And Sammy, and I regularly send Sammy the ads I'm showed on Instagram where they're still selling brand new 2024 Nissan Zs for like $20,000 off, and it's like, it's never been titled. It's been sitting in the showroom for 2 years, if not 3 at this point.
$20,000 off?
Yeah, like huge price discounts. And it's just sitting there, right? And the Nissan's like, well, we don't want this to happen. So if you want one, you're going to have to order one. And we don't want dealers carrying inventory. But when you make an announcement like that, it's never perceived in a positive way. It just really seems...
$20,000 is still not a deal. Have you seen the cost of these cars?
In Canada.
Holy cow.
Canada.
I'm looking at it in Canada. It starts at $53,000.
Yeah, so like in the US, I believe it starts at 40, and I think that it competes positively with the 4-cylinder version of the Supra.
Yeah,
but in Canada,
that's true.
In Canada, the prices are out of this world.
Yeah, they need to be 20 grand cheaper to even consider them. That's insane.
It's like when the ELR came out.
And it was just uncompetitive immediately.
It was like an $80,000 Volt. And it was like a really good car.
Yeah, but not for 80 grand.
No, it was not conceptually feasible. Sammy, anything else you want to say about this vehicle?
No, like I said, I'm scared for Nissan's sake. I don't know what they're doing. I can't get a read on them, and every business decision seems to be a struggle.
If anyone else out there is scared for Nissan...
About the Pathfinder when they just negged every Pathfinder owner?
Yeah, they said the Pathfinder should not be used for school pickups.
Carpooling, they said.
It's not designed. It shouldn't be designed for that. I don't know what they think.
Carpooling. They said, quote, carpooling. So the moment you get 2 people in the car, it should just tip over and just shake everyone out.
That wasn't the impression I got. It wasn't that it wasn't safe for that. It was the idea that, like, as a concept, the Pathfinder shouldn't be used for carpooling or school pickup. Here's the thing. Isn't this a 3-row SUV?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that the definition of like...
Well, they're saying it wants to be more like the model you own.
Yeah, okay. They've moved this vehicle from unibody to full frame and back again.
And back again. And they're going to do it again.
4 times in my lifetime.
That should be... That's the Pathfinder way. It's changing your...
It's like, maybe this will fix me, maybe I'll get bangs. Maybe bangs will fix the Pathfinder this time,
I will.
Does it ever work? It's never worked, but this time I think there's a chance.
That's like me shaving off my beard and mustache every few months. I'm like this time.
And then your son is like, "Who is this stranger?
Who is this freak?" Yeah.
I'm gonna throw my shoe at him.
Oh yeah.
If anyone out there is also afraid for Nissan and you want to talk to us about it, how would they do that, Sammy?
They should head on over to our website, unnamedautomotivepodcast.com. There's a contact form there. You fill it out. That lands in our inbox. We'll chat. I love it. Or you can reach out to us on social media. We prefer Instagram of all of these platforms. So hit up Ben at Hunting Benjamin, or you can find me at Sammy_ha, like you're laughing. Or you can email us the old-fashioned way. It's Benjamin at benjaminhunting.com.
What are you going to be talking about next week, Sammy?
A minivan. Pacifica. That's what I've got. Pacifica.
The plug-in or the normal one?
I don't think it's the plug-in.
Wait, okay. I mean, there's a way to know, but okay.
I do not think it has a plug.
I am going to be talking about the Ford F-150 hybrid, which I think is called the Power Boost.
Power Boost.
Yeah, so I've never...
This is why Nissan can't succeed. They don't have names like that.
Yeah, it should have been the Titan Power Boost. This is my first time driving the hybrid. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
And I've just never had the chance. And you know what I'm going to do right now?
You told me.
I'm going to go out into the night, into the darkness. I have a Christmas tree sitting in the back of the bed, and I'm going to plug a power saw into the bed generator, and I'm going to cut that Christmas tree. And what's going to happen? You'll find out next week.
Okay. Hopefully all of your digits are intact.
Fingers crossed.
See you later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.